I just want to add one little thing, and this is, yeah, it's good to record. I was going to say, and I forgot to say this a couple weeks ago when we were going around asking anybody have anything, and a club that I have frequented recently, however I'm trying to say that, they have things. And I was just really thinking that maybe we can get into a thing, just something to make our club a little bit more lively, a little more fun, a little more intriguing, because it's one thing to, get all these members in here, and if they don't stick around because they don't feel engaged, then that's not that good either. I mean, but however, this thing just popped in my mind when I was thinking of things, and that is I dream in colors. So tonight, in addition to using your word of the day, which we're going to talk about that with our grammarian, and we've already had a couple of us to use it already. So in addition to the word of the day, try to give your responses or your conversations in color. And that could be just using colors as descriptive words, or what does color mean to you? We're going to talk about that in our table topics. So that's our theme for tonight. I dream in color. All right. Yeah, without any further ado, I will pass this on to our to our Toastmaster, Wesley Hillstrom.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President-elect. Okay, one thing I want to point out. Please don't get nervous. I'm not going to blow the meeting. This is root beer. Okay, our first order of business, we have a very illustrious speaker, do we not? Do we have at least one speaker? We do not have a speaker.
No, we do not. We don't have a speaker for tonight. Unless someone wants to give us a beautiful pocket speech.
Can I come up with a pocket speech? Oh, golly.
Well, while you're thinking about, let's start off the meeting with invocation and pledge.
Yes. And
what I'll do is I'll just give a short prayer. Most Congress, Father, we thank you for this another opportunity to gather together for the Toastmasters meeting where we can improve on our communication and leadership and our characters, and each and every one of us, not only tonight, but into the new Toastmaster year, improve ourselves on how to communicate with people, communicate the right messages with people. In Jesus' name to pray, amen. And let's do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now back to our Toastmaster for tonight.
Maurice, thank you so much for sipping with that very valuable portion of our Toastmasters meeting. I've just been so running around today that I'm a little out of sorts right here. But I'm trying to come up with a back pocket speech. So what comes to mind in terms of perseverance? Oh gosh.
The little thing that could.
Right. I think I can. Before we go into your pocket speech, though, Mr. West, we need to go over our roles for the night and have those explained or expressed by everyone.
Okay, and I would like to invite our who's our general evaluator this evening? Do we have a general evaluator?
That would be me.
Okay, Mr. General Evaluator, would you like to call upon your members of your team to explain the roles?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, and welcome everyone. I am David, and I will be your general evaluator for this evening. And we'll start by going over the roles assignments, and we'll start with timer, which I believe is Donovan. If you could please tell us your role.
Yes, thank you to all the members and all the guests. My role for tonight is the timer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep track of the time from the table topics, and the evaluation team. For the table topics, it'll be 1 minute to 2 minutes. So this is what I'm talking about with the treat Oreo, is I'm going to use hats as a way of dictating the time. So this green hat will be for 1 minute or 2 minutes. This blue, orange, amber hat will be 1 minute and 30 seconds or 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And this red hat will be 3 minutes for the evaluation and 2 minutes for the table topics. Thank you, and back to you, David.
Thank you, Donovan. It's always good to have something different or unique. So I love the idea of having hats for the timing rules. Thank you. And next we'll move on to our awe counter, which I believe is going to be Carrie this evening.
Good evening, everyone. My role is awe counter. The responsibility is to note any overused words or filler sounds such as and, well, but, so, you know, as well as something like this. Back to Toastmaster David.
Thank you, Carrie. That was, that was really good. I'm kidding. That I was purposely doing filler words. Okay, moving on. Next, we have our grammarian, which will be Maurice this evening.
Yes, good evening. As a grammarian, I will keep track of the word of the day, which is egregious, means outstandingly bad or shocking. And I will look for misuse of the English language. Not any other language, because I'm not fluent in any other language. So I'm going to just focus mainly on the English language. And back to you, Toastmaster Wes. Are you?
Oh,
Okay, I'll put myself on mute.
well, as I would like to introduce myself as your speaker for this evening. I'm going to repeat the speech that I gave you several weeks ago. It has to do with perseverance. Again, these are true stories. These actually happened to me. And they illustrate the point of going to the last measure, to persevere right to the last until victory is achieved. To begin, well, the speech is beginning right now. Mr. Toastmaster, which is yours truly, fellow Toastmasters, I'd like to illustrate to you 3 instances in which I persevered to the very last minute and victory was achieved. Many years ago, we had this little dog named Poochie. It was a very beautiful little dog. It was part Cocker Spaniel and I think part Beagle, but it had kind of a soupy expression. We were on a vacation. We lived in Detroit, Michigan at the time, and we all went to a vacation to visit relatives in Los Angeles. Well, we took our little dog with us. So we left the dog in the backyard while we were all going out to dinner or some event. And that little dog dug its way out from underneath the fence and just disappeared. And there we were in Los Angeles. And we were not familiar with the area at all. Certainly our little dog was not familiar with Los Angeles. But I wanted to find our little dog. It was a very precious little dog. So I mapped out a little grid and I searched methodically that grid until I was looking for that dog. And after 6 hours of persevering and trying to find that dog, I thought, well, look at, I'll just go one more time. I'll try and see if I can, where she was last seen. So I went there and I saw this little black shadow run across the road. It was Poochie. So I picked her up. She was scared and trembling, but I comforted her and took her back home, and all was well. That was one instance where I persevered to the very last, and victory was achieved. Another time, I remember in a math class, I was having some difficulty with the math concept. It just wasn't coming clear to me. And you know when it came clear to me? When it hit me like a ton of bricks on the final exam. I just looked at the problem and I said, holy mackerel, that's how you do it. And it had a happy ending, got a good grade on the exam, got a great grade in the class. Again, at the very last minute, I mean, at the final exam for Pete's sake, but it happened. Things can happen in the most miraculous way. Life is not linear. Things happen for our benefit if we persevere, if we continue to work towards victory, towards victorious end. I remember one time I worked for the Naval Oceanographic Office, and I was aboard ship. We were doing survey work, and I remember before I left, I put in for an extension for another month or two on the ship. Well, for some reason, the senior scientist did not have that information. So he's saying, well, it looks like you're going to be sent back. There's nothing we can do about it. So there I am in Bermuda. I walked to a social center, to a pay phone. Remember them? Pay phone. And I made a collect call to the office. And I talked to the scheduler. And I said, you know, I put in for this. What's the problem? We talked for a while, and he says, well, she got me between a rock and a hard place. If I can find somebody to help us out, I'll let you extend for those extra months. It happened. Everything fell into place, and I was able to stay for those 2 months. Why? Because in the face of all odds, I took it upon myself to make that phone call to the office and get that approval. The point is, if we have a task and you work at it with sincere focus, that can come to fruition. I'm living proof of it. I know it can happen. And at this point, I would say, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you for your speech. Very good, Mr. Speaker. And back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Excuse me, I've got somebody at the door. I'll be right back.
Yes, sure. While he's gone, we're going to get ready to move into our table topics portion of the meeting. And I must say that I agree. As a matter of fact, it's amazing that what he's talking about is just what I'm going to talk about tomorrow night on my podcast. And it is that perseverance and that encouraging yourself. Sometimes there's not going to be someone there to give you that push, that nudge to encourage you. And you just have to encourage yourself. And that's the difference between going all the way to the end and giving up. So I do think that perseverance is important, and it's one of the ways that we're going to make it in life. Because if we wait for every obstacle, I mean, if we use every obstacle as an excuse, we're never going to make it to the finish line. So thank you very much for that speech, Mr. West. And we're going to move into, I'm sorry, I will pass the podium back to you.
Okay, thank you. I think one of my favorite quotes was attributed to General George S. Patton. He said, "A good decision now apparently, I think he's repeated to us said a good decision now is better than a superior decision 10 minutes from now. You know, sometimes you just have to go with what we got and work with it. So to continue, just a minute.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll move into our table topics portion of the meeting. And I will be your table topics master for this evening. So I will just pass the virtual lecture right over to me. And tonight's topic is going to be about I Dream in Color. And it's going to be about those colors. So I'm just going to look around my room. I'm sitting in my office here at work, and I'm going to either pick out an item or pick out a color of an item. And I would just like for you to give me the first thing that comes to mind when you think about that color. So, and I'm not going to call on anyone because I want you to have, whoever got that inspiration, what does that color mean to you? I just want you to spew it out. So I will wait for you to choose to give me the first thing that comes to mind when I talk about a particular item in my room and its color. So the first thing I would like to talk about is the color white. I have white flowers sitting on a mantle, on a shelf in my room. What do you think about when you think about the color white or even white flowers? What does white mean to you? Tell me the first thing that comes to mind. I dream in color.
I can give it a shot.
Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. The question is, for me, what do I think about with the color white when I see the color white? And as of the past few years, my feelings about the color white have changed, primarily because I've become involved with the Meditation Center of Alabama. And in this meditation center, I've actually been to temples in California and Georgia, and I'm not Buddhist, but it's a beautiful thing. But the lay people in the congregation all wear white. The monks wear orange robes, but all the lay people, it's not a set rule, but generally white is the encouraged color. And it's, to me, it represents a certain purity, a certain innocence. And I guess that's why brides get married and wear a white wedding dress. It's just that, right or wrong, that's what I think about when I think of the color white. I think about just that innocence, that purity. I don't know if that should be, or if that's just what comes to my mind, though, especially with my involvement with the temple, because it's such a beautiful thing just to see the sea of white clothing and all of the different people from all over that it represents. So thank you, and back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much for that, David. One of the things that I think of when I think of the color white is its purity. It's that lack of dirt. I mean, it seems to be such a pure color. However, studies have shown, psychologists will tell you that when you are decorating a baby's nursery, a baby's room, do not have those bright white colors. That it is, it's piercing, it screams. So just keep that in mind, but I do love the color white. Wes, I will give you the gist of our table topics portion for tonight. And it is, I told you that I had the theme for I Dream in Color. So I'm just looking around things in the office. I'm sitting at home, and I just want you, I'm not gonna call on anyone, just whatever color screams out to you and you wanna give a response. I just want you to tell me the first thing that you think of when I give you a color of an item in my office. Okay, so, and whether it be a realistic thing or, again, it's about dreaming in color. So just what does that color mean to you? What does it represent to you? So the next color that I have is a red oscillating fan. I went to the store and just to get a fan, because we were sitting outside in the garage and in the patio, and I was thinking, I need a fan. And the only color that they had in there was bright red. I'm talking candy apple red. So what is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the color red? And this is for anyone to answer. The color red. What does that mean? Carrie, is your hand raised? Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, my computer was moving slow.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. What's red for me? Red is passion, fire, burning for me, my mind or heart. In the morning, I think about myself. How do I feel? Do I want to burn a fire or do I want to feel calm? If I want to put fire on myself, that means I want to work harder, fighting. I would choose the red bowl for the cereal for breakfast. If I want to calm, I would choose another color such as peaceful green or white or something else or clear bowl. But red is definitely put me fire and exciting and then almost burning. That's the red means for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Carrie. And that is exactly what red means for me. It means fierce and boldness. And it just means, hey, I am okay with grabbing your attention. And red is just an attention grabber. I know the universal red means stop, for a stop sign or a traffic light. And I think that's understood no matter what country you're in. It's that octagon shape and it's a red sign and that means to stop. And that's okay if you stop, but stop and be bold, be fierce, and you're okay with just grabbing the environment with such a bright red color, or such a bright color. The next color that I have is a canary yellow painting. Canary yellow. What does yellow mean for you? What is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of canary or lemon yellow? Anybody? What does yellow mean to you? All right, Maurice, I see you. Oh, well, Wes, I think Maurice, you were up first. I think Maurice is dying to
Well,
answer.
the first thing, fellow Toastmasters, the first thing that comes to my mind, even though better things could come to mind when we talk about yellow, but when I was real little, I used to watch these cartoons. When a person gets real scared, if I remember correctly, he had an egregious stripe down his back that turned yellow or something like that. But yellow, it means scared, and people use terms like yellow politics, meaning that they're scared or trying to get out of something, they're trying to maneuver their way out of something instead of taking action and making the right decision. So that is the first thing that popped to mind when I heard the word yellow in this theme of dreaming in color. It's such an egregious thing. Back to you, Madam Topics Master.
Yes, it is. I guess it can be egregious if you allow it to be, or especially when you think about it being as a shocking color. And yellow is very bright, but yellow reminds me still of springtime. It just reminds me of something that's bright and airy. And I just think yellow should smell good. I don't know if it's the citrus in yellow or if it's the purity that I see sometimes in yellow, but I just think yellow should smell good. Now, I have another color, and this color, I have quite a few colors in this office, I will admit that. But another color that I have is pewter. Pewter is also maybe a mix between a silver and a gray. When you think of silver or gray, what comes to your mind? I would love to hear from you, Wes or Donovan, about silver or gray.
Do you want to flip a coin, Donovan?
Go ahead. You can do this, but I'll do the next.
Okay. Silver or gray? Gray, what comes to mind with gray is a sort of authoritative color. Like perhaps in a leadership or supervisory role. But gray speaks to me to be authoritative. Silver somewhat of a noble color. Connotates perhaps promise of happiness, silver lining, that sort of thing. Justice, the silver bullets of the Lone Ranger. I don't know. But I would say gray is as authoritative, and silver as heralding good things to come. Madam, Mr. Topics Master. Madam Topics Master.
Table Topics Master.
I'm sorry.
Thank you so much.
I have a drink. I'm preparing for a trip. And on top of all this, the hurricane season's coming in. I have a very tree in very bad shape. It's being cut down. It was cut down just a few minutes ago with another tree. And I'm dealing with these contractors. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm hoping your tree will be. I'm hoping your trip tomorrow will be a peaceful one and not one that is egregious. And I like the way you think of the color silver or gray being authoritative. When I think of silver or gray, I think of a precious stone, gold and silver, silver and gold. And it takes me all the way back to the Bible days. So I just think of silver being next to a color of royalty. You know, someone that has owned silver or gold, one of those precious golds. So silver for me is one of those colors of royalty. Donovan, I think we have enough time to. We do have an award tonight, and we do have to go over all of our roles have to give their reports. But I think we have time, Donovan, for one more, and that is going to be a black. My ring stand is black. Donovan, what does the color black mean for you?
Okay, that's. Olivia, can you do my time real quick?
I can do it.
Oh.
Thanks. Let me know.
Okay.
All right, thank you. What does the color black mean? Black can be a very different kinds of ways of describing what black is. Some people might say that black is devil, right? An example would be probably a black snake, which resembles something that would sort of resembles the devil or hell. Another way of looking at it is that black can also mean an empty soul. An empty soul is like you're lifeless. You're not dead. You just feels empty inside, and it just doesn't feel like that anything is worth living. I think black really means is lifeless and soulless, because it has that emphasis of that egregious feeling of it. Just that's what black means to me, and I'm gonna go ahead and return back to Olivia. Thank you.
Very good, Donovan. Thank you. And I also love that use of the word of the day. It fits so perfect. Something that's outstandingly bad. And for me, black is what most people think for white. Most people say that white is a blank canvas and you can just do whatever you want to do with white. But I kind of feel that way about black because you have the ability to shine the light wherever you want it to go. So to me, black is a blank canvas. You can just go wherever you want, shine the light wherever you want it to be. Some of you guys look frozen. David, can you hear me? Can any of you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, all right. Maurice is not moving and Wes isn't moving and neither is Carrie. So I don't know if it's me. Oh yeah, Wes is moving. I see Wes.
I promise I'm moving.
Yes, I see you, Donovan, but Maurice and Carrie are stuck in the most egregious shape.
Yeah, they're moving for me, so it may be your
Okay, yeah, it's
connection.
my end. That's okay, it's my end. Okay, we need to move on to our next portion of the meeting. I'm going to turn this back over to you, Mr. Toastmaster West.
And I will say this, black is also been described as the presence of all colors. So what that reminds,
Okay.
what that brings to my mind is life is what you make of it. So
That's right.
Wonderful as you want. So it's not nothing egregious at all or anything like that. So to move on, do we have an evaluation for evaluator for our speaker?
Oh, well, I don't think we did one official, but anyone that would like to just.
I could do something along with my general
Okay.
evaluating role. So we'll start with the general evaluating section. And good evening, everyone. I'm David again, your general evaluator for this evening. And before I go over before I call on our evaluation team, I'll give a quick evaluation of Wes's pocket speech. And first, I want to say that it takes courage to get up and just give a pocket speech, especially on the spur of the moment, and especially when you have a lot of other things going on. So I really appreciate Wes stepping up and doing that. And it gives a really good example that it's possible to do, because that's something I always feel like I've got to be prepared and have to have all these notes. But sometimes you just get up and do it and just do the best you can. And I think Wes did a good job. The examples he gave were great on how things can occur at the last minute, and you just about the importance of keeping the faith. And also I thought, as always, Wes had pretty much no filler words that I remember detecting. His speech was timely. It was just over 5 minutes, which is perfect for a pocket speech. And I do appreciate it. I really do. I will add just my own thoughts on what we were talking about real quickly as part of this. I kind of look at it when I was working as a civil engineer for the state of Alabama. Sometimes politicians would set like arbitrary deadlines, for when we had to finish a project, basically. And at the last minute, we would pull together everything and we would get the project done. But it would end up being a bad project. By that, I mean, there'd be lots of errors. And then the contractors, when they were building it, they would take advantage of those errors. And it was just chaotic. It wasn't a good thing at the end. And so I kind of look at things sometimes, you can do something fast maybe and get it done by a deadline, but at some point it's better to do it right. And that's kind of the way I'm looking at building membership right now. If we were to get 10 people in the next 2 days, I think with the resources we have in place now, especially with so many people not present, it would be pretty chaotic. And it would be, are we doing that for us, or are we doing that for them, is my question. And for me, the answer would be that's, we're doing that for us more. I mean, it would be great if we were a distinguished club, but I don't think victory is a matter of being distinguished or not distinguished. I think just surviving this pandemic, especially, as a club and an active club, it would be great if we could. And I think it's very important that we do work on our membership, because it is absolutely critical. If we don't get new members, this club will die. period, because our existing members are eventually going to move on. Things happen. So Wes is dead on correct that we have got to get new members. I think, but at this point, I almost feel like, just I'm licking my wounds and let's get new members, but let's do it in the right way. But I understand at the same time that, the importance of wanting to stand out. But I think sometimes it's just a compromise, and we can have an honest difference of an opinion there as well, and that's fine too. That's one of the beauties of Toastmasters, is we can learn to listen to each other's views, and whether we agree or not, just to take in, because I've got lots of things I can learn from Wes for sure, and from all of you. So, and I do appreciate that. So, okay, I'll get off my bandwagon, but I really do. That was a great speech, Wes, and thank you for giving that, especially under those circumstances. I can't imagine if I had contractors here working in my yard, I wouldn't even be at this meeting because I'd be a basket case. I don't do well with contractors. So that's awesome. Okay, moving on. Can we start with our timers report, which is Donovan? And Donovan, your time for your table topic was 1 minute and 42 seconds.
Thank you, David. I'm going to go ahead and do my timers report based off of what I have so far. David's, I'm going to go ahead and start with the pocket speech. I sort of started, the truth was, I timed it a little late because I was so intrigued by his speech. So I don't know if this is the right time, so I put it as 2 minutes and 24 seconds. For Wes's table topic was 1 minute and 5 seconds. Myself was 1 minute and 42 seconds. Carrie's was 46 seconds. Maurice's was 1 minute and 5 seconds. David's table topic was 1 minute and 35 seconds, and his evaluation of Russ's pocket speech was 3 minutes and 31 seconds. Thank you. Back to you, David.
Thank you, Donovan. Very good as always. And moving on, can we please have the all counter report from Carrie?
Good evening again. I am your counter tonight. None of us egregiously overused any certain words or used filler words. However, some of us used few times. Let me report it. Start with Wes, your long speech. I really appreciate your pocket speech. I really enjoyed it. You used so that you could skip. And your table topic, I didn't hear anything that. Okay, next, David, your table topic, I heard and so you could skip. The last evaluation, I detected so 1 time and twice. Maurice, your table topic, I didn't hear anything. Donovan, your table topic, I didn't hear anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate your all counters report. So is a difficult, so is my go-to word when I'm thinking. So that is definitely a filler word. So thank you for pointing that out. It's something I need to work on. Moving on, can we please have the grammarian report, which I believe is Maurice this evening?
Yes, the grammarian's report. I did not hear many or any, or don't remember hearing any misuse of the English language. And the word egregious was used many times by many members before we really got kicked off, and then a few after we got kicked off with the meeting. And that is my grammarian report for this evening. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Maurice. And I believe that covers all of our evaluations for this evening. And I'll give a general evaluation of the meeting. Let's see, we have 6 of us here this evening. A few people couldn't make it, but even though it's a small group, we still had a good meeting. Everyone was engaged and active, and that's important. And I think Olivia's doing a great job as her first sit-in as president or acting president, but it'll be president next week. And so definitely want to thank Olivia, and I think, and everyone that has accepted a new role for this upcoming year is wonderful. Just about everybody here is, well, everybody here is actively involved in the club, so that's important. And we're at 7:41, so I will now turn the meeting back over to our Toastmaster, Wes.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I will say, okay, let's just suppose we have a whole bunch of members. We have 10 new members. And David, your point is well taken. If we have these members, what's in it for them? Well, suppose we were to bring in a guest speaker. Right? Has anybody heard Susie Proctor speak? She's a tremendous speaker. Her email address is the speech doctor. So I could try to bring in Susie Proctor. Before I leave, I can try to bring in Susie Proctor as our guest speaker at the meeting next week. Would you be agreeable to that? Okay, I'll work on that. Now I'm leaving tomorrow morning. Now Monday, here's the thing. This time, Monday morning, I'll be about 1,200 miles north. And I'm not sure how good my internet connection can be. But I can email Susie tonight and ask, we would love to have you giving a presentation at our Hilltoppers meeting next Monday. And I think I think you and any guests that might be here would be absolutely delightful to hear her.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much for that, Wes. And if you can get her, we'd be glad to have her.
So at this point, I'd like to turn the meeting over back to our Madam President-elect.
Thank you very much for that, Wes. And I tell you what, your passion just exuberates from you. And we are so glad to have you as a member and on our team. If you do not make contact, or if you want me to reach out to her, I will be more than happy to as well. I do have an award tonight, and let's see, do we have an education overview at 7:43? But if at any time there's an opportunity for us to be educated, I like to not miss that opportunity. So if someone has an education overview, we can do that now. If not, that's okay. I would like to present to you an award for an Advanced Leader Silver. And this recognition is going to, can y'all see this? Maurice, please help me say your last name.
It is Heidelberg.
I'm glad I asked, because I would have said something a little different. Dear Toastmaster Heidelberg, congratulations on achieving this Advanced Leader Silver, which is an ALS award. You have demonstrated a commitment to leadership by earning this level of recognition. As an ALS, which is an Advanced Leader Silver, you influenced and motivated followers to achieve a mission or a goal. It also says that you have participated as a district officer and have completed the High Performance Leadership Program. You also helped to train a new or existing club. The challenges you have taken and completed successfully have helped you to learn to plan, train, motivate, and manage. These skills are beneficial to you in everyday life. And what I just want to say here, and let me encourage all of us, including myself, that to have these skills under your belt, to be known as someone that has the ability to plan, to train, to motivate, and to manage, that is some wonderful accomplishments to have. And you're right, they can be beneficial to us in our everyday lives. It says best wishes for continued success and self-development through the Toastmasters program. And again, to piggyback on what David said earlier, how proud he is of all of us. And that's one thing that we have to remember, that we are all self-motivated. We're not doing this for any accolades. I'm clearly not doing it. I'm not getting paid to do it. There is no bonus at the end for me. This is simply done because we are interested in our future and our self-development, and we have recognized the importance of enhancing these skills. So my hat's off to you, Maurice, for such a wonderful accomplishment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else has any awards that I need to acknowledge?
I'm just curious, Maurice, is your DTM still working out for the end of the year?
Yes, well, the application has been submitted. It took 2 months for this one to be awarded, so
Wow.
I wouldn't think,
Yeah,
I wouldn't think this one would be awarded anytime soon. And plus, they're working on the year-end stuff to get that finished out for all the clubs.
Okay. But you got it in on time, so
Yes,
it's
yes.
just waiting. Okay.
Yes.
yeah. And it does say here that this ALS award is one of the requirements for the DTM, which is Distinguished Toastmaster Award, which is the highest recognition our organization offers. So that's a great achievement, Maurice. And I am just so proud to be a part of your team and to sit under your leadership. I would like to encourage us all to remember to use the word of the day and try to use it outside of work too. I know egregious is not one of our favorite words to use, but I'm sure we can find some way to use it in our vocabulary. And next week, if you can think of a theme, something that might be exciting, or maybe not exciting, but just something that we all need to talk about, then let's try to keep a theme going for our meetings. No pressure, just everyone do what you can. All right, if we don't have anything else, I think we can wrap this meeting up. Wes, were you going to say something?
Well, just one thing. I will keep you in the loop when I contact. Who am I going to contact? Not Piggy Hill.
Oh no, it was Sarah or
Sarah.
Susan?
Susie Proctor.
Susie.
This continues to be an interesting day.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna let you get off of here, Wes, so you can go check on those contractors, because I'm with David. I think the moment the contractors got there, I probably would have said, hey guys, I have to go. But we thank you for sticking and staying in with us tonight. Does anybody else have anything else?
Carrie has something.
Hey, Carrie.
Okay, I'd like to say thank you to all of us, all of you. This is the last week for the Toastmaster year. I am a treasurer, and I will be a treasurer another year, but I am an officer, and I really appreciate all of us for your help. And then I finished the first year as an officer, and I'm really happy. And all of us won the Carrie K Award tonight. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Carrie. And I would gladly accept your award. Thank you so much. Does anyone else have anything else? Carrie, you're on mute. Carrie, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Kidding.
We can't hear you.
You're on mute.
I'm sorry. But just one more thing. I'm so happy to survive our even under this coronavirus, something very unusual. I am so happy we still have a Hilltoppers. Yay! Thank you.
Yay.
Back to you.
Yep. And you know, that's my thing for the rest of this year. I try to be that way anyway, but try to have an attitude of gratitude. If you're still here, if you're breathing, if you're sitting upright, if you are using a computer, you have internet, you have sunlight, you have a light on, or I mean, we have so many things to be thankful for. So count your blessings and keep that attitude of gratitude. That'll be a good thing for next week. But you know, that's me. So anyway, all right, gentlemen and lady,